Hi, welcome and welcome back. I hope you're doing well. Let's talk about narcissists and closure. I'd like to touch on a few points about narcissists and closure and try to help put things in perspective, offer some insights as to what you might be dealing with or may have been dealing with, and to also give you some examples, and finally offer you some tips or suggestions on what you can do to move forward in a positive way. The first thing that I want to mention is that narcissists don't want you to have closure. Closure is control for a narcissist, and they like to be in control. And they would prefer that you not be in control, that you be kept off kilter, that you are left hanging, that you are left scratching your head, wondering, what was that? What went wrong? What did I do? What happened? What's wrong with me? Feeling insecure. And they also don't want you to have closure because it leaves the door open, because while you're spinning and vacillating and wondering why and what and who and wherefore, it leaves the door open for them to come back into your life and to create more chaos and drama, to suck you back in, to play with your mind and play with your heart some more. So narcissists don't want you to have closure. People naturally want to have closure. They want to button things up. Typically, when narcissists reach the discard phase of the relationship, again, they like to be in control of the discard, and narcissists want to discard you in the most painful, unforgettable, dramatic way. I mean, really leave you with a real cliffhanger. The idea is not so much to give you closure, it's to just leave you spinning and leave you wondering and reeling. And also it sets them up to kind of be the solution. Narcissists want you to come back to them for answers. They want you to come back to them for closure or for comfort, whatever it is. They want to be the one that you come back for, but it also puts you in a position where they can subject you to more abuse, and you don't want that. Another thing that I want to touch on about closure is that narcissists can't give you closure. Essentially, they can't give you what they don't have. And if the narcissist in your life, say for example, if they were abandoned as a child, maybe they were given up for adoption, or they ended up in the foster care system, or maybe they tragically lost a parent or both parents as a child, and they themselves grew up wondering, okay, well, why was I not loved? Why was I given up? Why did my parent have to die? I shared the story about my dad's dad and how he was taken out just over an argument in a pool hall. I mean, ridiculous, right? But just that quickly, he lost his father at a young age and just never had that solid, grounding father-son relationship. And that really set the tone for a lot of his life, and also just kept him wondering. I mean, it was this big mystery because no one was really there except for the guy who did it and maybe whoever else was at the pool hall, right? And the narcissist in your life may have been abandoned in some kind of way. And these fall under some of those adverse childhood experiences that I mentioned in a previous video, where there was maybe a death of a parent or a separation or an abandonment or something like that. And that left the narcissist kind of spinning and wondering why, and, well, was I not good enough? What did I do? It's my fault. I wasn't loved. You know, no one wants me. Can you imagine? So then why would someone who themselves was left hanging even as a young child and grew up wondering, vacillating, just kind of filling in the blanks on their own, why would they be able to provide answers, solutions, grounding, clarity, closure for you. And why would they want to? I mean, if they're feeling hurt and feeling like they got shortchanged and, the short end of the deal in life in terms of their childhood and upbringing, then why would they give you this gift of answers and clarity and all of that sort of thing? Something to think about. Also, if you think about the narcissistic abuse cycle, the idealization, devaluation, discard, and then the hoovering that kicks in, the narcissist lives their life and lives out that abusive cycle in a continuous loop. The narcissistic abuse cycle is designed to meet the narcissist's needs. It's not designed to give you closure. So if you think about that, they're just going to keep doing the same cycle over and over again, but the priority in the cycle is the narcissist and them getting their needs met. They're going to use you to get their needs met, but they're not going to try to accommodate you in that cycle. Make sense? Also, trauma plays a part in the fact that the narcissist is not able to give you closure. You're getting a taste of the narcissist's trauma and their inability to communicate with you, their impulsiveness, the lying, the manipulation, the aggressive behaviors, the anger, the rage, the silent treatment. All of those things are indicators of their trauma. The fact that this person has been traumatized, and so they're reacting out of their traumatic experience. And so your closure is not really a part of the plan, because they're literally reenacting childhood trauma and other trauma that they may still be dealing with. And so their behavior and their functioning is a lot of reacting and a lot of just deeply ingrained bodily reactions and outward reactions to whatever abuse they experienced, whatever trauma they went through. Whether it was a big incident, it doesn't have to be a big incident. It could be a series of incidents or a repeated situation that they were in. Something to consider. I have seen some exceptions to the closure rule, and I've seen situations where, say, I knew a woman who actually had the opportunity to go to therapy with her narcissistic ex-boyfriend, and it was actually his suggestion. And she went into it with the intention of speaking her piece with a witness there and being able to just kind of get closure that way. And I will tell you that the ex definitely behaved erratically during the sessions. I mean, went so far as to curl up in a ball on the floor, try to manipulate the therapist. It was kind of a mess, but she did accomplish her goal. And I told her, I said, you got a gift that most people don't get. I mean, most people don't get the opportunity to circle back to their ex and really tell them how they made them feel and get that closure. So that was a gift. But the thing is, it still didn't go perfectly, if that makes sense. It was still messy. There was still a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of manipulation on his part, and even trying to manipulate the therapist, and even just some erratic behavior like the curling up in a ball on a floor and the whining and the immaturity. So it was really frustrating, but she got through it and was able to move forward in a positive way. Also, there's the example of my dad, where during my last phone call with him, it seemed like he was admitting he was acknowledging a lot of the things that went wrong in his life. The problem with that, and what really didn't make it full closure, is that he didn't own his role in it. Everything was everybody else's fault. So even though he was kind of itemizing all of the things that happened in his life, the homelessness, the no money, no car, just all kinds of stuff, being all alone, losing his marriage, not being able to believe that he was in the position that he was in, he didn't fully take responsibility for his behavior. So it wasn't total closure, if you know what I mean. The other example would be the alleged murderer. He was arrested within hours of allegedly murdering his family, but he's been sitting in county jail for the past few years, and there doesn't seem to be a trial date in sight. And I'm sure from a systemic standpoint, it's probably more profitable for him to be in the system and stay there for a while than for him to be, processed and charged and punished accordingly, allegedly, right? But again, he's locked up, but everything's not totally over with, if that makes sense. So even in that kind of a situation, it's not all the way there in terms of being completely closed. So what can you do? I would suggest that you really figure out a way to create your own closure. And I think a big part of that is your healing journey. And there are a lot of things that you can do that are very trauma focused that you can do for your healing. There's trauma yoga, there's meditation and breathing exercises. You can also read and educate yourself on narcissism and narcissistic abuse. You can look into your family of origin. You can climb that family tree and try to get some insights as to where all of this started, or what family members or ancestors maybe displayed this kind of behavior that caused you to be trained and to tolerate the abuse that you've experienced. Do some trauma-informed education for yourself and learning about trauma, how it affects the body, not only for yourself, but also to help you to understand the person that you were dealing with and the things that contributed to their behavior, the way that they were interacting with and treating you, so that you can really pull everything together and also make different choices going forward for yourself, for your children if you have them, in order to, and also to change the trajectory of your family history. I think that can be a very powerful thing if you're open to it. When it comes to narcissists and narcissistic abuse, closure is hard to come by. And for the most part, the narcissist doesn't want you to have closure. That closure closes the door, and the narcissist is not going to want that. So you have to take it upon yourself to educate yourself on a lot of levels, to really heal yourself first and foremost. Take care of yourself, heal yourself, remove yourself from toxic situations, and be able to focus on your healing, focus on your education, and focus on making different choices going forward that are going to be healthier for you. You're not alone and you're not crazy. Know who you're dealing with, know who you are. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.